Hey, what's going on? It's Sean. So, last year in 2022, I made this sort of resolution to print more of the photographs that I was creating. I had spent so much time in the previous years just making photographs and letting them live on my phone, and I really wanted to get past that and start printing more and more. And I actually did. So, I printed quite a few photographs, probably nearly 100 photographs last year. Some of them better than others, but it was a really positive experience. I really enjoyed doing it, and being able to look at the photographs and hold the photographs and even give the photographs to people made the whole process like even more meaningful than looking at them on Instagram. So in this video, I wanted to take a step back and look at some of my favorite photographs from 2022 in print format rather than showing them on the screen. So let's dive into it. Okay, so set us up on the desk with the top-down shot. Let's take a look at some photos. So this photo I actually made in the summer here in New York. So this is not too far from Lower East Side Skate Park. And it just kind of like, I saw this guy skating down the street and I thought it was interesting that we have like the bus stop is on this side. So between the camera and the subject there is the bus stop. So you get these like interesting dots that came across the frame. So I kind of wanted to line that up first. That was like my first interest. And then trying to get the guy as centered as possible. And I think I shot this with a 21 millimeter with the Leica M monochrome. And I thought it was really interesting because you also get like, there's like this guy back here and he's kind of laid out. And then at the same time, you also get like this guy's kind of looking down. You get like the stains on the street and things like that. And I just thought it was an interesting composition, and it's been one of my favorite images that I made last year. So I printed this here. This is a 8.5 by 11 on matte paper, obviously black and white. So next photo, I made this probably in the summer again. This one is not too far from Fotografiska. I had just seen a presentation there, and I walked out onto the street and there was just this group of like hundreds of kids riding their bikes down the street. So I ran out to the street really fast. I think I had a coffee in my hand and a snack of some sort, probably like a pastry from the coffee shop. And I was trying to get a photo really fast, and I had the 28 Voigtlander, the Voigtlander 28 millimeter f2 Ultron with me. So I was making photos with this. So I just set it at f8 and then just kind of hoped to get lucky. And I took a number of photos. There's probably like 25 or 30 photos from this series as these guys came down the street. But this one really stood out to me because the guy is actually like looking at me as he's doing this wheelie down the street. And we get like a nice combo of this guy over here, and then the bus, like you don't know if the bus is moving, if the bus is like sitting still while they come around it. I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. I wasn't like too excited about this bright white car in the edge of it, but um, it felt weird to crop it there, and maybe I would again, I don't know. So over the year, I definitely did a lot of skateboard photography. This one is actually after a storm. This is the Lower East Side Skate Park in Lower Manhattan. And yeah, so it had just stormed. You can see kind of like the detail in the clouds here. You can see some of the rays coming through. And then you can see like basically Lower East Side Skate Park floods every time it rains heavily. So I was able to photograph it in a way where you can see the reflections, which I thought was really interesting. And then you get like the reflections here. You can actually see a lot of detail in the water here of the sky, which I thought was really fascinating because I shot this again with the Leica M monochrome, which doesn't have the best highlight recovery. So I think I actually shot this like 3 or 4 stops underexposed and then pushed the highlights as low as they would go, trying to recover those or keep them as best I could. And then I pushed the shadows as far as they would go. And it actually worked out really well. I wish I could have saved a little more detail up in here, but it is what it is. So yeah, skating was huge last year for me. I worked on this big personal project around skateboarding that hopefully will be seen more and more in the coming year. So this is actually a photo that I made at one of the skate events at Lower East Side Skate Park. Um, And it was just this moment where this guy is like this is like his coach or his mentor or something, and he stopped to like pray with him that the next run that he went on actually went well. And I think he ended up injuring his arm or something. He got hurt, but he skated through the pain, had his arm kind of like bandaged up a little bit, and was able to still come out. And I think he won best trick of the event. So I really love this. I thought it was a really fun moment, and it showed part of skateboarding that you don't often see, something behind the scenes that's not like these flashy tricks and things like that. So, okay, and this fifth photo here is actually one that I made. It got really foggy out one day towards the end of last year, and it was foggy like on a Thursday or something, and I had to photograph an event or something, and I was not able to go out and photograph the street, and I was so disappointed. But the next morning, I woke up at like 6 a.m. or something like that, and the report said it was going to be foggy again. So I just like raced out of the house as fast as I could. I had my M240, I had the Voigtlander 28 as well as the Voigtlander 21, and tried to make as much as I could as fast as I could. So there's a bunch of these photographs. You can see some of them on my Instagram page, and I'll probably put up some of them as prints for sale. But this one really struck me because of not only like do you get to see the fogs, you can see like the whole Brooklyn skyline because this is from the Manhattan side. So we're here under the Manhattan Bridge. That's the Brooklyn Bridge coming across. And not only can you see like nothing of Brooklyn because it's all kind of encased in this fog, but this guy here was just standing, and he just had like this interesting posture as he was kind of rocking back, looking back and forth, and he was looking at the water at this point. And I just thought it was so fascinating, and the way the shadows kind of covered across him, it was amazing to me. I just had to photograph this moment. So I'd actually be messing up if I didn't show this last photograph. I thought I was going to show 5, but 6 seems fine because this is a photograph that I made last year with the Lumix S5, and I shot it with the Sigma 28-70 really on a whim. We had just finished up Photoville 2023. I had been out and about all day, and I was sitting there with a couple friends when all of a sudden I glance over at the Brooklyn Bridge and I see this light shining through, and I was over the moon, way too excited. I tried to take as many photos as I could, and this is one of my favorites. I think the light coming through the archways is just absolutely stunning, and I was just over the moon. I was so excited. So I printed this a number of times. I've sent it in for some competitions. Unfortunately, nothing yet on it, but I still love it. It's one of my favorite photos from last year. If you're interested in following along and seeing some of these photographs from the day-to-day, you can follow me on social media. I'm pretty active on Instagram as well as on Glass at Sean P. Bruce. You can also check out my website, seanpbruce.com. And until the next one, thanks for watching. So my last video, I did a watch check, and I thought I would do it again here. So this is my Seiko SKX 007.